But what if he's going through there? What I'm saying is he's going through. He's not saying the Jews as far as ethnically. He's saying he's going through their customs, the Feast of Tabernacles. He's going through the way they call out the name. He's going through the Sabbath and how they worship on the Sabbath. And he's literally going through each of the customs that are in the Torah. And he is saying all of these customs were taken from the cult of Dionysus.
Oh, okay. Hey, Hebrews 9 verse 27. What's up?
Brother Garfield, good evening. It's Brother Darren from Hebrews 9 verse 27 and John 3 verse 16. Firstly, how are you, brother?
I am good. Where you calling from? You coming in from England?
Yeah, London, England, man.
Oh my God! Oh no, you gotta put the accent out, man. You know I love that accent, man. Come on, man. Don't hide it, man. I hate that. Don't
God,
hide the good
blimey,
accent.
Governor, you want to
Yeah,
hear
the
it?
good
You want to hear an
accent.
English accent, Garfield?
I
Yeah.
want to hear the accent, my brother. All right, what's
Yeah,
up, man?
man.
What's on your mind, beloved?
Big up. Yeah, I don't know if you've got a specific topic. I've kind of come in and I've kind of heard things.
No. Anybody could ask. Today's Ask Garfield. Ask Garfield anything.
Okay, so here's the questions that I've got for you. 2 questions. I've listened to some of your talks, some of your debates, so on and so forth, but I don't know where you stand on these 2 questions. So here's the 2 questions I'm going to ask. Firstly, what is your view, belief, or knowledge as to the first cause for the creation of this universe? What do you go for that? That will be the first question. And the second question is, I'm, my family are from Jamaica as well. That's where my mum was from. Her grandma was a Maroon, and I'm in touch with the Motown Maroons. Yeah. The Motown Maroons, and even my granduncle are Obeah practitioners. And well, some were, I would say, yeah. But even my uncle could do rituals, rituals to deal with other spirits or other entities. I'll leave it as that. But what is your view or your response to both of those 2 questions as to what those West Africans are dealing with when they're dealing with those entities, that so-called magic, although they might not class it as magic? And what is your view on the first cause for everything that we see in this universe?
For the first question, I would say I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have a set answer for that. There's different things that science has said, but I would say for me, I simply don't know. I simply don't know. As far as the second question, the West Africans practice Obeah throughout the Caribbean and even in North America. The 1712 rebellion, in New York that disallowed men of 3 or more to gather in public anymore was because of that rebellion. Taki or Three-Finger Jack. Three-Finger Jack used to work Obeah. He would say the white man bullet can't kill him. It took a maroon to actually take him out.
That's right, yeah.
Taki worked Obeah, the same type of stuff with the powder, ready to go to war, just like what LeBron does, or Kevin Garnett when they're about to play basketball. They would clap their hand with the powder, just like saying, hey, we're ready to go to war. The Haitian Revolution, they brought out some of that Obeah, So I would say the practice of Obeah is a spiritual system that was developed and followed through by many who came from West Africa.
Right.
Don't mean I should practice it or anybody else should practice it, but to each his own. I don't, every Jamaican I know practice some sort of Obeah. If you go in Jamaican house, you find Bible open up with cross and all and type of things. So them at work some sort of science. I used to date this lady years ago, man, like 20 years. No, not 20 years, like around like 15 years ago. No, about 20 years ago. I used to date this lady, and every time I go in our house, we used to get a headache. every time we go in our house. We get a headache. We say we can't go in our house, my brethren. We get a headache. You were pure Obeah, my youth. I said, no,
Right.
you can't stay in our house. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
sir. No, sir. Johnny Williams, Garfield looking for anybody to go against the Israelites. Damn, you don't believe in nothing. Stop worrying about people who do. Now, my book doesn't deal with belief. It deals with archaeology. It deals with history. It deals with anthropology. It deals with genetics. And it also deals with linguistics. So if you're not interested in those topics, don't buy my book. All right. Go ahead, brother. Any more questions? I'm here, man.
No, so what I'm asking is these people that are coming from West Africa, these West Africans, whether you look at it within Voodoo, within Obeah, Santeria, these people are actually saying they're interacting with ancestors. You know, I personally don't believe they are ancestors. I believe the dead is the dead, but that's my belief. But they are saying that they're interacting with other spirits and other spiritual beings and entities. So what I'm asking you is, according to your opinion, are they right or are they wrong? Are they interacting with other forces, yes or no? And if so, what do you believe those forces to be?
I don't have any idea. They're trying to interact because they're trying to interact with the unknown forces of nature, and that's what they're doing.
Okay.
Whether I believe that or not, that's a whole nother situation. But that's what they did. I mean, hey, let me tell you something. It seems like the Obeah or the Jamaica them I work at the Obeah, the right Obeah, because them send for my boy from Jamaica and him go to Haiti and him do him look a thing. Next thing you know, evolution and Haitian win and bing bang bing. So at the end of the day, I don't know what they're doing. They send for Bookman.
Yeah, Dottie Bookman, yeah.
On the plantation. So they say, yo, we gotta get the Haitians worked out a deal with the English. Imagine that. It was enemies. The French and the English was enemies. And they say, yo, we can't deal with this Bookman guy. We got to send him somewhere where he can't go with other English speakers. So they send him to France, to the French spot. And then they meet up. And then why meet up with is other people who hold to the same convictions that he did. So when you have that vocative now, because his prayer said, we're not praying to the white man God. We praying to the real God. And that's he separated himself. You see, that's what we should learn from that. Separate yourself from the God that the slave master gave you, and something happened. But then they come back and say, look at Haiti today. If the real God did bless them, look at them today. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's like the Jamaican Obeah family, different than the Obeah or every other island world. Because everywhere Bookman got, it was a problem. It was a problem.
Well, wouldn't it be similar for Queen Annie?
It was. And all me know them wasn't Hebrew or Muslim or anything too. Because the Maroons invented jerk pork. For those who don't know, jerk pork was invented. Them kill the pig and roast the pig and bake the pig and name up the pig and everything. Cut him up, slice him up, everything.
That's right.
That's why Jamaicans love jerk pork, because of the Maroons. All right, let's just get that. We call it burnt up pork or burnt up chicken. We are the original that do that. I want you to understand that. All right. Now, the brother, hold on one second.
Right,
Garfield, I meant, did the Egyptians write about the Exodus? The Egyptians didn't write about anything regarding Israelites being held as slaves and then conquering their pharaohs and sending floods and brimstone and all type of things. Not Nagosa, because it's the impossible. You see, this is what you have to realize. The impossible is possible with religion. So Ephraim can go into Egypt with a son and a grandson, and he's not even 5 years old yet. That can only happen in religion. But with common sense, it can't happen. Your two questions, Garfield. Do you see higher power as the same as God? Should we reject ancient African systems of thought in the modern era if they have been deemed unscientific? I think, well, let me just speak for Garfield alone. As a descendant of the Akan, as a descendant of the Igbos, as a descendant of the Angolans, as a descendant of Western Central Africans, I said no man who comes from those cultures, you are not forced to follow what that culture follow. So you don't have to disrespect it and say, oh, that's craziness and da 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 da. No, it's not a part of what you want to do today. Today in the West, you're a new human being who can develop your own practice. If I want to hold an altar in my house and sacrifice cats and call it Garfieldism, I have the right to do that. Everybody have the right. But the higher power definitely is, in essence, what people refer to as God. Should we reject ancient African systems? No, because African systems walk you through rituals and teach you. You know, they have different systems in their Akan. They have the personhood that teaches you how to respect one another, teaches you values, teaches you how to treat your brother the way you want to be treated. So everything you learn in the Abrahamic faith, you could learn in African systems and even more. All right. My brother Sean would use the term rites of passage. So they teach you all that through the rites of passage you go through and all those different things. But the spirituality and systems serve a purpose. If you want to join it, you have a choice. But if you don't have to feel like a victimized or don't feel guilty and say you didn't join, so you're not going to go to heaven. You don't get that feeling with African systems. But with the Abrahamic faith, there's always a threat. If you don't join, you're not going to get to go on the mothership. You're not going to get to go on the UFO. You're not going to go to heaven. You're not going to get the 72 virgins. I'm going to tell you a quick joke, Hebrews 9:27.
Yeah,
when the
sure.
man write the Quran, right? It's a my story. I make it up.
Yeah,
The man said, listen, how we going to pull these people from Christianity and Judaism into Islam? So they make up a story, say, anytime you go to heaven, you have the potential to get 72 virgins. All of a sudden, all the men wanted to be Muslims. Because every man say, yo, when me dead, me gonna get 72 virgin. Whoa, what a blessing. So you start leave because listen, Christianity have the best argument. They have the best argument, Hebrews 9:27, because when you come back, you could look like the same person you are. You're coming back in that body. So everybody think them the best looking person. They go in the mirror and say, look how me look cute and ray. So you want to come back and look like you. So now, how you gonna beat the argument? They forget followers now. 72 virgins. That did the trick. All the man them want to turn Muslim now. 72 virgins. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Christianity have competition now. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
I
mean, go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say I was down at Speaker's Corner. I don't know if you tune into Speaker's Corner, which they have down here.
When last were you there?
I was there not this Sunday, I was there the Sunday before.
All right. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get Sarnetta, maybe Sarnetta, Naya says she want to come. I might bring Ngozi depending on his schedule. And we trying to just do a conscious community invade Speaker's Corner. You think that would be
Corner,
good,
London
right?
Hyde Park?
Yeah. So
okay.
What you think that's a good idea?
I think it's a brilliant idea. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Kalam, who used to do Titans TV.
Yeah. Me and Kalam still cool.
Kalam. Yeah. Right. Okay. So Kalam his channel is no longer really down there representing at the park. So what you pretty much have every single Sunday is a jamboree, is a WrestleMania fest between Muslims and Christians. Sometimes the Hebrew Israelites turn up there, but Hebrew Israelites in the UK are not strong like they're strong in numbers like over in the US, because obviously that's where the movement really starts. Right. But every single Sunday, I mean, you type, if you go onto So-Called Films or any of the Dawa channels, or just type Speaker's Corner, you see them. So my last, I was down there the Sunday before the last, and I saw some Muslims trying to beat up on an old Jamaican man, maybe he was Jamaican, telling him, okay, Christianity is taking him, enslaved him, giving him this anglicized name, and effectively made him Christian. But I've been studying that for a long time, and effectively that happens under Prince Henry the Navigator, who the Portuguese prince who starts that, after kind of going into Suta and kind of coming back against the Moors, and then he gets the endorsement from the Pope and the Papal Bulls, and that's how they roll, right? But the funny thing is, you have the trans-Saharan Muslim slave trade, which precedes that. So when I started to say to the guys, these Muslims now, let's talk about the trans-Saharan Arab slave trade, which preceded it, none of the black Muslims that was down there wanted to deal with it, was totally trying to omit it from conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, they have a mindset where they're not really prepared to go into scholarship sometimes to acknowledge certain things that I've done. And if you know, at the end of the video on my broadcast down there, I said if that's the type of scholarship that you want to engage in, or you're not prepared to talk about the truth of what happened with the Arab slave trade, which segues into what you're saying, 72 virgins. If we're rolling out and we're rolling out as a gang, yeah, and me and you ain't got no woman, and all of a sudden Muhammad's saying, listen, who your right hand possesses, are you that? Then I'm gonna roll with that because I need a woman. You see what I'm saying? I need the plus the women that I get when I get in heaven. And then later on now, as history and time modernize, and you can't dominate the whole world, you're into revisionist history because all of a sudden, all what you've done, you're on hide. But anyway, that's all I say on that.
Hey, listen, who goes down there and videotape now? Who's the YouTuber down there now?
So what from a black perspective?
Yeah, any perspective, it don't matter.
Really, it's mainly the Muslim channels. You got a channel called SC Dawa. You got a channel called Sam Dawa. The main Christian channel down there is called SoCo Films. SOCO Films.
Right, listen, we're gonna try to head over there in the summer, like the end of the summer, like sometime in August.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely coming over there. I'm gonna see when Sonnet free, and of course I gotta roll with the king of consciousness, Sonnet. We're gonna do something big, man. And who knows what might happen after that? You know what I'm saying? We might end up in Europe somewhere. You know, but thanks.
I'll keep. Well, if you're gonna do that, post it, and when you land, I'll definitely meet and greet you and show you around. Because to be honest, I mean, you guys are debating over there, and I understand, but the debates that they do down at Speaker's Corner are pretty much just off of the cuff as you stand up, pretty much like what you see on Harlem 125th or whatever. It's just back and forth straight, and sometimes it's about your level of apologetics and your level of polemics, your level of rhetoric, how you can spin doctor things, all these types of tricks and shenanigans, interrupt, red herrings, fallacies, all of that goes on. So a lot of dirt are on still. But yeah, man, when you're ready, maybe I'll look for you still.
All right, stay tuned, man. Stay tuned, because I got my uncle in London too. I got to see him before he leaves the planet. You know what I'm saying? So I got to see him too. All right, so thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, man.
I'm gonna jump off. I'll keep listening though. Anyway, all right, blessings, Garfield.
All right.